conference in Vernal, Utah, and he's told me that he'll tell me a story about some actual giants that's been found here in the Uinta Basin. And I'm not talking about Bigfoot. Daryl is a Bigfoot expert, but he's going to tell us some stories about some giants that's been found. And so, Daryl, with that said, hit it.
I don't know that I'm a professional, but thank you, Terry. It's good to be in front of your camera a second time. The first one was over at the Moon Lake gathering, and that was so much fun. You ask about giants. I've seen a Bigfoot. I told that story before, but in talking to people about their experiences, if they haven't got a Bigfoot story, I always try and find out what the most incredible experience or thing that they've ever seen. And I get so many stories, hundreds of interesting stories. I have 3 stories, actually 4 stories of giant bones that have been dug up or found in years past. Right here in the Uinta Basin. I cannot give you very much information because I told the person they are anonymous, and also because it's been years. I will mention one that I can give you a little bit of information. It was dug up many years ago by somebody that has since passed away, and his witness also passed away. I worked with his witness.
So I'm going to stop you here for a minute, Daryl. Man, it's all kinds of noise. Let's move, because we're still live here. Let's move where it's a little bit quieter, down the hallway here to the Phenomenon Conference. It was getting a little bit too noisy there, so let's do it right here.
Right here? In the corner?
Okay.
Okay, where did I leave off?
So, giant bones found. Yeah, you got to.
Okay.
These people want to remain anonymous who found them.
Yeah, I will tell you one that we're probably okay on it, and the reason is because this gentleman that found the bones. This has been many, many years ago, and he found the bones in an area that is, let's just say, north of Vernal, and when he took them out, he had a gentleman that was with him. I knew that gentleman, but I never got this story from him. I got it from somebody that he was related to. But anyway, when he pulled those bones out, they were 7 foot 2 1/4 inch. That's what he told me. And he specifically said 7 foot 2 1/4 inches several times. And he called the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian wasn't interested in something, and I don't know why. He also called a university somewhere here in Utah, and they were not interested for a particular reason or another, I don't know. But he took those bones and put them in a container, and they are now underwater in a burial ground fit for the individual that was buried, the 7 foot 2 1/4 inch individual. And they are now buried under one of our lakes because they made the dam and the lake flooded over, and so those bones are in a fitting place.
So did he say there was any artifacts with them, any ancient records, anything, or just he just found the bones? Did he say if they had double rows of teeth, 6 digits? Did they say any of that stuff?
I did ask those questions, many of them anyway. He did not say there were double rows of teeth. He did say that this individual had a narrow skull, and that the one individual with a big hand, and he did have a big hand, could fit his hand over the skull. So the body would have been thin but very tall. And whether that skull could have collapsed in a little bit on itself. The others, yes, they did have 2 rows of teeth. On the one that was buried in one of our mountains here close to Vernal, I have to be careful here.
So I just want to say,
I will just say that it was buried in sandstone. And I'm not going to tell you the way that it was buried in sandstone, but there were other dugout sandstone, but there were no bodies. There was just the one. And I got to be careful there.
And you probably can't answer this. I got Gold Pro Unlimited saying in the Blue Mountains.
I will not say. I will say 2 of them were north of Vernal, and the other one, I'm not going to say on that one.
Peter Birdsall.
One of them was found, I was told, in Dry Fork Canyon, and I was also told that it may have hit the Vernal Express a long, long time ago. But he couldn't say for sure, and I've not gone to the Vernal Express and typed in the word giant, so I don't know. However, I have heard many, many other stories on the internet, literally, I don't know, at least 50, and seen articles all over the United States in newspapers. I purchased a book because of that, and there's probably 100 places across the United States, especially back east, where giant bones have been dug up, and pictures have been taken, yes.
So I just want to say, you're from the Basin area here, and Daryl's like me, only times 100, man. He talks to everybody, and he records all their stories, and people have talked to him because of his experience. And so he's talked to people about giants, about Bigfoot, about UFOs, and so also, Daryl, little people. What can you tell me about little people? Can you?
Just got an interview about little people just a while ago, but it's the same person you interviewed earlier. So you have that interview. I do have others. One individual shared the story of someone that he found laying in a yard with stab wounds in their feet. And her comment was, boy, I don't know if I should say this. Those Bigfoot, they're not so bad. They're kind of nice. They're good to have around. But those little people, they're mean little buggers.
Really?
And she had stab wounds in her legs. Now, whether she was teasing him and she hurt her legs some other way, but she was laying down when she was found. I have talked to Native Americans. I have talked to someone who said they found a knife, and nothing but a little teeny tiny kid would be able to hold that knife like it would be meant to be held.
Really?
And when that knife was brought back, the parents or grandparents or somebody said, "You have got to go rebury that. That is a bad omen," and,
really?
And that knife was reburied. They made sure that it got reburied. But it was just a little teeny flint knife.
Wow. A.V. Adams, how you doing? Anybody got any questions for Daryl? Well, I got him here real quick. Going. Hey, there's been a lot of interesting talks, a lot of interesting people here. One of the people here was, and he just left. The guy who was abducted. They did that show in the. Oh, hold on here. Once they did Alley with the people in our. It went away. I don't know what you're saying there, A.V. Adams. Anyways, the guy that got abducted, and they made that movie of it, Fire in the Sky, he was here talking, and the thing that interested me is he said that all the negative, bad publicity that came against him, all the you know, all the false information, all the disinformation that was purposely put out on him. And today's 9/11. And a good friend of mine, Professor Jones, when he did the investigation on 9/11 for the Travis Walton Navy, when he did an investigation on that Building 7 that came down, it wasn't hit by the airplanes or anything, and he did the investigation and determined it came down with a controlled demolitions. Man, they came out with all kinds of bad information or bad publicity on him, trying to paint him as a quack, you know. But what most people don't know is he had a bunch of scholars backing him up. And the reason I know this is because on our forum, they had a hidden sub-forum that you couldn't get into unless you was invited, and it was nothing but scholars that was on this forum, and they was talking about all their research, all their good data. You know, it was all pointing to the same thing. That Building 7 came down in a controlled demolition. And, you know, after they smeared and dismantled, you know, Professor Jones' credibility, which was a farce, the other people was scared to come out, but now they're starting to come out. But, you know, that's what happened to Travis Walton when he was abducted. They started smearing his name. They put out disinformation out on him, saying he was a drug addict, saying, you know, but they tested him right after he got returned to Earth from when he was abducted, you know, and there was no drugs in his body. There was no, he had his partners that was eyewitnesses, and they tried to make them disinformation. So that disinformation stuff is out there, and I just want to say that for 9/11. And what do you got to say about that?
You know,
disinformation.
Terry, I heard that conversation when you was talking to him, yes. And to be honest, having seen Bigfoot and sharing stories and sharing other people's stories, that is one of my greater fears. That I am someone that always tells the truth. And to say that I've seen a Bigfoot, it worries me that people will mock, and I have been mocked. I've been made fun of. But I was sent home to die of cancer, and that's when I did see Bigfoot. And I really don't care about that anymore. What I care about is absolute truth.
Man, no wonder I like you, Daryl.
I want absolute truth.
Yeah.
That's what I want more than anything else in this world. That, and for people to love each other better.
Amen. Amen.
Anyway, do you have any other questions?
People have been saying stuffs on here, but I haven't been reading them. They go away too quick. If anybody's got a question, again, quickly type it and I'll see. You know, it's interesting to me. I'm not a UFO guy, you know, but they invited me here to this Phenomenon thing to talk because they had a section on treasure, and so I talked on that. But listening to these people's stories, you know, they really believe what's happened to them has happened to them, and in the past people did belittle them, make fun of them, so they was afraid to say anything. It says, A.B. Adams, any particular artifacts or symbols, petroglyphs of giants?
I have hours of recorded stories here at this Phenomenon concert. It's amazing, incredible.
Well, I was going to say that people, even airline pilots, they was afraid when they seen a UFO, they was afraid to report it because, you know, they'd possibly lose their job or they got made fun of them. You know, people was afraid to tell what they seen. But it's nowadays, things are getting a little bit more open and more truth's going to be coming out. Like I say, I'm not a UFO guy, but listen to some of these stories here, man, I got to think, maybe there's something to this.
I got a story about that. Not my story, but I saw this on the internet, on a YouTube channel. When I very first got my first recorder, it looked like an asteroid or a comet or something coming in. It had a stream of material behind it as it was coming into our atmosphere and breaking up. And there was about 4 or 5 different people that was photographing this as it was coming slowly across the sky. And there was something right back behind that in the tail end of that, whatever it was, and it was flashing. And then it would flash again and flash again. And I thought, I wonder what that is. What is that that's flashing? And there was only 2 explanations. It had to have been either a part of a satellite that was breaking up, and it was the big silver thing rotating around as it came into the atmosphere. But it wasn't breaking apart, it wasn't trailing. Now, the miraculous thing is this slow-moving, whatever it was, asteroid, I'm guessing, small asteroid. When it hit our Earth's atmosphere, it literally glanced up and left our Earth's atmosphere. I think that it was going too slow to have done that. But what I really think could have happened was there may have been a UFO flashing its light on that rascal, making it less dense, weightless perhaps, and it moved that right out of our Earth's atmosphere. And I have a hunch that whoever was in that UFO, if that's what it was, saved our Earth of a great catastrophe. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
You could probably go on the internet and find something different. But I kept that site open and showed that to everybody in my family over and over again for years. And it's gone now. I don't know where to find it. I don't think...
Bernardo Conkin, Halo.
Oh.
Halo. Well, I think GoPro Unlimited deflected it. Something deflected it, he says.
I think it was weightlessness, because I do have about 20 stories from individuals, can't say names, who have lost time. And a couple of individuals, or 3, can't give any more information than that, remember being in the UFO. And those stories have to remain anonymous. And I really better not give you any more information than that.
How about,
but it's just like his. I mean, just very close, not the same, not as drastic.
You know, a lot of here was said, not a lot said, but, you know, kind of the father who was the collector of this stuff was, Junior Hicks. And you had the opportunity of interviewing Junior Hicks for 3 hours, and you recorded him. Can you give me one story do you have permission to give me one little thing, interesting thing that he talked to you about?
I could, but I really should get permission from his wife.
Okay, you can't.
I will say this much.
Hero Paranormal, how you doing?
I will say this much. I will mention UFO crash. I will mention.
Yes.
Not all creatures.
Hold on, Daryl. The guy who just said you want me to do an interview with somebody, you can get me. Yeah. Arrange that for me, Jen. I missed what you just said, Jen Ottens. Okay, sorry.
UFO crash. He gave me one story of someone that was hurt by one of these creatures that came off the Skinwalker Ranch in that area.
Somebody around here was
somebody
hurt by
was
one of the
was
creatures.
hurt, and there was some blood.
Oh, wow.
But I can't give you any more than that. I will give you one thing. If you go anywhere near there, take a compass. And if that compass starts to spin,
Run.
Get the heck out of Dodge.
Run. Take a compass, and if it spins, it's like your canary in a
Get
in
the
a
heck
mine.
out
Get
of
out.
Dodge. Yes.
That's good advice.
Uh,
Hey,
I'll just close with that. I would have to listen to that interview that I got with him and pick out a few things that he said.
With that said, Daryl, that's a wrap. Thank you guys that come on and watch this. Bernardo Conkin, that is great advice. Here we are wrapping up with this Phenomenon. There's a lot of people here, a lot of great speakers, and we had a great time. I did do a little talk here, and I was scared right to death, but I lived through it. Daryl did a talk, and I didn't get to hear his, and he didn't get to hear mine because we both spoke at the same time,
Yeah.
so we missed each other's spiel. Hey,
I spoke with Jeff Meldrum, and I got to ask Jeff some awesome questions. He told me his Bigfoot stories,
hey,
and that
YouTube
was
auditor.
great. Yeah.
Hey, Bernardo Conco, it's on YouTube. Hey, yeah, Bernardo, my email is hunters, HUNTERS, HDT@gmail.com. It's in my down in the descriptions of this YouTube. So with this now, man, they're going to be having a here coming right up here at the Phenomenon, kind of a costume dance, end of the night celebration, and you can see there's one costume there already. So we're going to be going to that. Thank you, Jen. And that said, Daryl, thank you, and hey, thanks everybody for watching this. And that's a wrap.
Thank you.